Hello everyone, you are back on cash in the driving seat with Bardolph. So, we're going to learn some new nades today, starting over towards the A bomb site on the CT side. So, we're going to show you a consistent smoke into A main. Basically, you want to run past this corner and then back up into it, like so. Put your crosshair on the top right corner of the E, and then throw. And you'll see it is a fast smoke. It lands in the same place every time. One thing you need to be aware of though is this corner in the smoke here. If we go through and pick up the AWP here, we can see that sometimes there is a bit of a gap. On this occasion, you can't really see much. Okay, now we can. So as the smoke fades away, it's a bit more obvious. But sometimes an AWP can jump and see into quad here. So if you are playing this position, and just be aware of that, you can just look for it as an AWP yourself. The next smoke is going to be into the mid area here. Two places to smoke it from. The first is Z connector, so you just run against the wall like so. Make sure you're not too close to the wall. If I was to throw this smoke now, it would bounce and land over here somewhere, so just move a bit to your right. Aim at the middle of this cross, and it will land perfectly inside, which means that there's nowhere for the T's to abuse the smokes, and also it means that the T's need to be paranoid about a CT pushing through into this area. You can see it just fills this up very nicely, no gaps. If you are on the white box or white cube area and you want to re-smoke it without showing yourself, just back up into this wall. Make sure you're not here, of course you'd be exposed. Back up into this wall, crouch, keep your crosshair in line with this line and just aim in line with that. As you can see, that line is dead center. So like that, for example, you can do it anywhere, goes in the same place. And you can see the re-smoke is going to be pretty much the same as the smoke from here. Now, the other nade from this position is going to be a Molotov onto the boost spot. So you're going to be in this corner, follow this line to the middle of this brick, and then we're going to be, it's a running nade, sorry. So when we are about here, we're going to let go of it.
Incendiary.
As you can see, it lands in this spot, which makes it consistent. If you're throwing Molotovs in this area, they're going to bounce and do all kinds of weird things. Sometimes the Molotovs just glitch and don't go off at all. So just be aware of that. This is the best place to throw a Molotov because it will be consistent every single time. The next smoke is going to be towards the B bomb site. So when you're coming into the site itself, you're going to bounce a smoke off here to land in this area to smoke off the terrorists. Now, this particular smoke, you come around the corner and it's a running smoke. Basically, you want the smoke to land roughly where the crosshair is. If you throw it too far to the right, then it will leave a gap on the other side of this wall, which can be exploited by the T's. So I would focus on having it on the line itself or a little bit to the left. So here is an example of how it looks. It's hard to get consistent because you just do it in a one fluid motion. Here we go.
Smoke.
Dead on the line. And if we look at how it lands, you can see there are no gaps on either side to be abused. There's actually a little bit of a gap there, but generally not going to be that close as a CT, so it's not going to matter. But again, this is a smoke which is not always consistent for the CTs because of the nature of it. Now we're going to go on to flashbangs here from this area. So first one is standing just roughly in this position, doesn't need to be perfect. We're going to be looking at this line here.
Flashbang.
This is a smoke we can run with and go for a fast peek. The other smoke is in this corner. Basically, you're throwing it here. It's going to hit the roof and then just fall down and allow you to peek.
Deploying flashbang.
Like so. There's 2 flashbangs for the B bomb site. Now we're going to move to the T nades. Since we're at the B bomb site, we will start with a Molotov onto the site itself, which is commonly thrown by Luminosity. So in this situation, they're going to have people over here waiting to push the site, and this Molotov is going to basically stop the CTs from peeking any of these spots on the site, to allow it an easier push from the T side. So basically, you're standing close to this. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just stand anywhere close to it. You're aiming above here, just like say halfway through this white, and just take a step forward and throw the Molotov.
Incendiary out.
You'll see it pretty much kills every angle possible for the CTs to hold an angle onto this entrance. of the B bomb site. Moving to T spawn now, we're going to do a smoke into Z connector. So you're lining up with the third white rectangle here, and it's a running jumping smoke. It's not a jump script, I'm just doing it willy-nilly. Keep your crosshair aimed at the top of this pole here, and once you get into this area, we jump and release.
Laying down smoke.
You can see we'll bounce off the back wall and smoke off one of the common AWPing positions. Now the next example we're going to demonstrate is a push that Cold does for Luminosity as well as other people, which is a smoke into mid and then a flash off this girder and then another flash off the other side of this red container. So the smoke is a running smoke. You want to keep this vent visible, and as you're approaching the entrance to A here, you're going to throw the smoke roughly with your crosshair aiming here between these two girders and just below the top of the red object here. So here's an example.
Throwing smoke.
That's going to bounce off the white corrugated iron into mid. Then you're going to follow it up with this flash, which you can keep moving with, you're not going to get flashed. And then that one, and your push. This push is done with your teammates boosting and throwing flashes over mid. So we're going to run this back and see how it looks in one full motion.
Smoke. Flashbang. Throwing flashbang.
This smoke will give you a gap to look towards shorts. Otherwise, there are other smokes which don't leave a gap here, but that means that to look at short, you need to jump like this, and that's going to be very disadvantageous. You are probably going to get shot in the head, but with a gap here, you can take an engagement should you wish to do so. If you're doing this commonly during one match, just bear in mind that some CTs may try to play close to the smoke or even in the smoke itself. So if you are relatively safe, make sure you give it a bit of a spray so there's no sneaky business going on there. So the next nade is going to be a smoke onto the top of short from the boost position. This is a smoke which I first saw Vox do. I've made a little bit of a variation to find my own consistency. So I'm going to be crouching and I'm looking directly down and lining my crosshair up with just the edge of the object here. Now I'm going to aim. You can see this dot kind of stands out from the other ones in this direction. So I'll use this as a reference and then move my crosshair up onto the corner of the girder. Then I will stand and release the nade. This is after your teammates have taken mid, so they're just waiting to move into this position. You can see the smoke is deployed. This means that the CTs can't AWP. If the CTs have an AWPer playing this position, for example, then you're not going to get AWPed unless they take a lucky pot shot. You can move towards Z connector if you so wish to do so, or you can move up close shorts if you also wish to do so. Be wary that the CTs can jump up here. It would not be a good idea for the CTs, but it's possible, so just be aware of that. But again, it just denies the CTs information, removes map control by way of AWP in this direction. So it's a really nice smoke for the Ts to do. And now we have the fabled Molotov into the vent. So you want to be colliding with this wall. You want to move back until the chimney on the right disappears, like so. Now we're going to aim the Molotov in line with this, and we're going to have it just to the right of here. Now you need to take a few more steps than you would normally take for a running nade, just to make sure it goes deep enough to Molotov all the way in the back of the vent.
Throwing fire.
So we can see it landed bang in the middle, and that is a very nice Molotov, forcing any CTs up. Something Virtus.pro do actually is that they will have, for example, snacks will be holding this angle, waiting for that Molotov to come in, so you can punish the CT as they exit, and almost a free kill there for the T. So make sure you combine the Molotov being thrown with this kind of play if possible.